Hello, welcome back to the channel. I am here to talk quite informally about my goals for 2023, both reading and non-reading goals. I have my phone here, which I will be referring to because I have my lists in my notes app. And yeah, I just kind of want to chat about goals. I like this time of the year and setting like intentions for the year, and goals are one of those things that I like to keep reminding myself of. I keep a little card on my work desk to remind me of them, and I like to try to revisit them throughout the year, and maybe I will do that this year a little bit on the channel, just revisiting them either quarterly or semi-annually. But yeah, I just like to plan some things and think about what's important to me for the year. So in terms of reading goals for this year, I am going to be bringing back my same reading goal from last year, which is to read 52 books. This year I actually read 104, which is wild to me. I have never read that many books, and I genuinely don't know how I did it last year. But the goal is never to read 100 books. That's just not something that I am like striving towards. The goal, the reason I set it at 52 books is that's a book a week. And so one, that's easily doable for me, but also I want to make reading something I do on a daily, weekly basis. So when I say one book a week, that meets that goal. So leaving that at 52 books, same as last year. And then I have had a goal for the last few years to read down my physical TBR, and I'm continuing that this year. I believe this year I got it down to 61 books by the end of the year. And that's really exciting because I think a few years ago it was up above 100, which to me is extremely overwhelming. I feel like 60 books is very manageable, and I don't have a huge TBR where I'm not reading the books in a timely manner that I'm excited about. Essentially, like, that's really the thing, is I want a small manageable TBR because I don't want books sitting on my TBR for years and then me not being excited about them anymore. I want to get to them more quickly and to read the things as I buy them, and you know, to use my library and just in general be less beholden to my physical TBR like I kind of feel like I am. So right now I have, like I said, 61 books on the TBR, and I would like to get that down to 45 this year. Ultimate goal, I think, is like 25 or 30 books on my physical TBR, but I'm realistic with myself. I like to buy books, and I like to read things from the library, so the number fluctuates up and down throughout the year. So the goal is really just to slowly, incrementally over the years, reduce that down to 25 or 30 books. So this year I'm trying to get to 45. If I don't make it, no big deal, but that's the aim. Another one that I did last year that I'm continuing this year and I'm doing great with so far is to read every day in January. This is a Storygraph challenge, and it's actually a challenge that they have prizes behind, but I just think it's a wonderful way to kick off the year, to remind myself to read every single day, and I have been doing that, and I will probably continue that for the next year as well, even after 2023. So now I get into some more specific goals around reading. One of them is that I have 12 books on my physical TBR that are nonfiction, various genres of nonfiction, or topics, I guess, of nonfiction. And I would like to read half of those this year, or at least half of those this year. So I've introduced something into my sort of TBR game picker, whatever I'm gonna call it. I really haven't fully fleshed out how that is involved in the channel or in my reading for the month, but there's something associated with that in that whole bingo board situation. But all of that to say, I would like to read 6, so I have started really thinking about which ones I want to read, because I feel like I tend not to gravitate towards nonfiction. However, when I look at my stats overall at the end of the year, I rate the nonfiction that I read really high. So I'm enjoying and I'm getting a lot out of nonfiction when I do read it. I'm just not gravitating towards it. So I would like to push myself to read half of the nonfiction books that are currently on my shelf before the end of the year. And so far, so good. Last year I did try to do a challenge that Melanie, I don't think her name's Melanie. I will put her Instagram up here, the Melanated Reader, and I think for some reason like my brain thought it was Melanie the Reader, which is not even close, so learn to read, Jenny. The Melanated Reader. I will put a link to her Instagram down below, and she did a challenge last year where she challenged people to read 20 books by Black women. And I think I read 14, which, not great. I mean, 14 out of 100 sounds terrible. When I say 14%, it sounds slightly better, but to me, I didn't complete that challenge last year, and I was actually pretty disappointed in myself for that, because I was really excited to read more books by Black women. Because I do try to read books outside of my lived experience, but when I was looking at it in relation to this challenge, I realized that I actually wasn't reading that many books by Black women, and I wanted to change that. So I'm gonna be trying to do that challenge again this year, so 20 books by Black women. I'm also wanting to read 10 translated books. This is the one I think is the biggest like stretch for me, because I think I read like 2 translated books last year. I really like translated books, and I was actually super looking forward to the translated category for the BookTube prize, but it is not going to happen this year because there weren't enough judges to spread across 3 categories. So that was disappointing, but I'm still going to try to read some more translated books this year, because I find that it's interesting, because it's not that I find that those are the books that I most highly rate, but I do always find that those are books that make me think a lot. So I want to get back into reading more translated books. I also would like to revive the Indie Press project. So Stephanie, this one's coming right at you. And I think I want to be less ambitious this year. So before we were doing 11 independent presses, so 1 every month except December. I think I would like to do 6. So I have already thought of 2 indie presses that I personally would like to read from, and so if you have a favorite indie press, I would love you to leave that down below to help me kind of find other ones. But I will talk about that a little bit more once those 6 are kind of like more set in stone, or once I potentially get buy-in from Stephanie on this. But yeah, so that is a goal as well. And then the last one is related to the Animorphs series. I would like to read at least 10 more Animorphs books this year. I think I have 18 left before I finish the entire series. And like stretch goal is I would like to finish the entire series, because I just want to know how it ends, first of all. And second of all, I know that Paige from Pages with Paige is also reading this and is nearing the end. I think she's roughly in the same place that I am in the series. And I would love to do like a chat about the overall series with her once we both finish those books. So I kind of would like to make sure that I'm kind of keeping pace with her so that we finish around the same time and can have like a timely discussion about that. So those are the reading goals. I'm gonna get a drink of water, and then I will talk about my lifestyle personal goals. All right, so now the lifestyle personal goals, other category. One of the things that in the past year I've started thinking more about is finances and retirement funds and all of that kind of thing, and just better managing money in general. So a couple of these goals are related to that. The first one is to invest regularly in my retirement accounts. So outside of my 401k and what comes out of my paycheck. So I have actually already set up an automatic transfer from my bank account to my 401k or my retirement accounts. So that's technically checked off as long as I don't change it throughout the year, but that's something that I wanted to prioritize because I won't miss a little bit of money each month, but it will add up. So that was thing one. Thing two is to talk to my bank about the way that my accounts are set up, because I think that they're not optimized well for saving for the future and maximizing that. So that's kind of a one-off goal, but something that I definitely want to accomplish this year. It's one of those things where it's like I've known I needed to do this for months, but the thought of going into a bank and having that conversation is just anxiety inducing, so I just have not done it, but I need to do it. So that's why I have it on here as like a one-off thing, so I can just check that right off and move on. The third one, kind of in the same vein, is to get a points credit card. We finally did that for our family accounts, but I still have a very, very crappy rewards credit card. So want to transition to something that gives me more perks or more points and things that I can use to my own advantage. So that's another one-off check mark, but it's something that I've been probably attempting to research for years. So if you have a favorite one, love to know that. That might help me in my kind of prioritizing which ones I look at. Pottery related, I do want to complete 50% of my studio's member challenges. So each month there are challenges for the members, and if you complete them all, there's like prizes and things. But mostly I just find it really interesting because they're things that challenge me or require me to do something outside of my normal process, learn a new skill in pottery, and it's a great studio atmosphere where people will help you learn things. So I definitely want to take advantage of that this year. So I want to complete 50% of the challenges. It's the 20th of January, and I haven't even started on January's member challenge. So that is something I'm going to have to do this weekend in order to actually complete that one. So there is that. I would also really like to try my hand at making repetition of making the same thing over and over again, because with the goal that I may do online sales or participate in a arts show here in town. And the thing that I have identified, I think that would be the easiest for me and the most flexible for me, is trinket dishes. So I have a goal on here to create 50 trinket dishes. So that is something that I'm going to be working towards throughout the year, and trying different skills in combination with that. So I just thought that was fun. Then I am hoping to take a solo trip for the first time. Well, I say the first time. Before I was married, I did some solo traveling, but it was usually to go visit a friend, so that's not technically solo traveling. But I would like to go on one solo trip this year, just me. It's something that is vaguely anxiety inducing, but I feel like for me it's something I need to do to get outside of my comfort zone, not be codependent when it comes to trying new things and experiencing new places. I have already booked the trip, and I know where I'm going, where I'm staying, and it is somewhere I have been before. But it will be the first time that I will be there by myself, and I am looking forward to trying some new things that I've never done in that city. So that should be interesting and fun. fingers crossed I don't just like panic about it. Then I have some things related to the house. I really enjoy doing projects in the house, making spaces pretty and just personalized, and really making our house our home. So we've painted almost all of the rooms in the house. We only have a handful that are still the just flat Builder Brown paint that it was when we bought it 3 years ago. So in the goals, one-off goals, but still, painting the dining room and painting the entryway. I also really want to do like a fun, like wallpapered accent wall on the stairs. It's like on the side of the downstairs stairs in the entryway, because I think that that would be a perfect like place for a pop of fun color and pattern. So that is also in there. Sort of related is that I want to dig out more garden beds, and I want to plant fall crops. This year I planted garlic, which is a winter crop, I guess, and is something that I won't harvest until the spring. However, I want to plant fall crops, so like broccoli and kale and things that we can actually eat and use during the winter months, so that our garden isn't just just dormant place during the winter. So I'd like to better utilize that space. Right now we only have one garden bed dug out, and I would like to get another one dug out this year, potentially even the third one, but we will see, because that needs to be done probably in the next month or so, and the weather has been all over the place, so you know, we'll see how that goes. I also have some personal fitness, like health goals. After having my son, it has been very evident that I am not in the physical fit shape that I was 6 years ago, and I want to get back to some version of that. I am not looking to be like to lose a ton of weight or anything like that, not trying to fit into my clothes that I don't fit in anymore. I'm really just wanting to feel physically fit and healthy. So I am hoping to lose some weight, not gonna pin numbers on it or anything, but enough that I don't feel, you know, my knees don't hurt, and that I am not experiencing the kind of symptoms that I experienced associated with my acid reflux and things like that, because I feel like that has gotten steadily out of hand after having a baby and being home all the time because of COVID, and just all of that perfect storm of stuff that is really just, I need to get back into working out. One of the things I think is going to help me with that is I did get an under the treadmill desk for my work at home office, and I am going to be walking on that at least 3 days a week from now on. I've actually done a really good job so far, and have walked on it 5 days a week, so 4 days at home, and then the office, I have an in-office day, has treadmill desks, so I've been using that when I'm in the office or taking a walk outside around the building. So I am getting those walks in, and it is definitely helping me feel better as far as like my physical energy levels, but still quite a long way to go in feeling really fit and healthy, to be honest. So there's that. I also want to make sure that I'm prioritizing time with my family, so monthly date nights with my husband and monthly family outings, be that, and for either of these, going hiking, going to a new place, going on a trip, eating in a new place, just all kinds of things that we can do and see as a family, and just enjoy each other's company, but also time for me and my husband to like decompress and just be a couple. So that is something that I am trying to prioritize. In sort of the same vein, I want to go on 12 hikes. I have this every year as a goal, and so far I have not hit it. We always intend to go on more hikes, and we just always manage to not find the time. So I'm hoping that this year we will prioritize that. Our son is old enough now that he enjoys that kind of stuff immensely. So I think that we would actually, he can like keep up with his little legs can keep up. So I think we could actually go on a few hikes with him at this point. So that is a goal as well. And then the last thing is to judge the BookTube prize. So I am signed up for that. I did opt into round 1. We'll see if I get picked for round 1. But I am excited to dive into this. Last year I had so much FOMO around the BookTube prize. So I'm looking forward to participating this year, even if I am a little nervous about the books that are going to end up on there and what I'm going to have to read. But you will hear more about that in April will be the first video, because whatever I get assigned, or if I get assigned something for March and February, I will read it throughout those 2 months, and then the vlog will go up in April. So a while to come on that, but I am looking forward to participating in that this year. So you will notice I don't have any goals related to my channel, my Patreon, my Instagram, anything like that. And really that's because I am giving myself the space to just let this be fun, instead of trying to treat it like a side hustle, because to be honest, that has really made me not as interested or not as creatively motivated in the last year. So I really am just sort of treating this as I'm gonna post when I post, and I'm gonna have fun with it. I have been making reels a lot on Instagram, and I've been having a lot of fun with that. So if you're on Instagram and you wanna follow me, check me out. I have all of my social media handles in the description bar. So that's been a lot of fun, but no guarantees that I will find that fun, you know, in the future. So I just wanna be flexible with myself, because there's just nothing controllable, honestly, about follower counts, subscribers, likes, any of that stuff. You can only make the content that you want and are capable of making, and it's not a reflection on you or your abilities necessarily when people don't like it, and that's okay, or don't find you, or things like that. So I have been trying to keep that in mind lately, and it's been very helpful. So that is that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I would love to hear if you have any goals for the new year down in the description bar. Again, if you have any indie presses to recommend, would love that. Points, credit cards, would love those recommendations. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye!